I'm going to hit you with right away.
Okay.
With what I've announced is going to be my stereotypical question throughout this entire session.
Okay.
As a piece of television, what do you think Fringe has accomplished?
Okay. That's a... here's what I think it's accomplished. On a physical, on a nuts and bolts level, it's shown how important media is. It's shown how important social networks are. It shows how important grassroots campaigns to keep shows on the air. Now, fans are relevant. Fans are really important, and I love that. Because it puts the power in their hands. Because Fringe is the quintessential example of how something that should not be here is still here because of the fans and the support from the media. So, Kevin wasn't kidding. It's not a business of losing money. We all know that. How many shows that we all loved that got canceled. So on a level, I think it's a really important time for social media to show the influence that it has, and that people can kind of unite. And some of the things our fans came up with are absolutely astounding. I'm not just sitting in my office going, "What? They did what? Genius! Wow!" And you realize they're listening. At first, they said, "We don't care." We don't care about DVR. It means nothing. But it's not true. Now it does mean a lot. They're having focus groups about DVR and everything. It's going there. So that was, I think Fringe is important in that benchmark.
Of your fans, how was it to see the white tulips being held?
Well, you can imagine it's very impactful to me because personally, because that meant a great deal to me, and that image came to me in a dream. Yeah, and it meant something, and it meant what I was trying very hard to get what was in my head onto the page for White Tulip. And I did, and I think I did, and it meant hope and just that it's okay, and there were this concept of I don't know what the hell's wrong with the world, but there's some method of peace that I can find, and I just in belief in something good, and I was really adamant about getting that out. So I was very moved because what started as a little, something in my imagination, obviously has touched them, and that was beautiful, and it really was.
Favorite episode of Fringe?
Thank you so much.
Good. It's a great episode.
So much. Thanks a lot. Well, you're gonna love this season because it's one of the things that we get to do this season that we didn't before is because the nature of television, episodic television, as you guys know, it's like. One week Olivia feels like I'm mad because my boyfriend split, and then the next week she's like, when I got this growth and I'm concerned about it. There's always a different, let's invent a drama, that she can have that makes you interested that goes on the case of the week, which is sort of boring, I think. I'm a feature film guy, so I'm always trying to think of what am I really trying to say? What am I really trying to say? And this season I have 13, so I'm looking at it like a saga. That there's an odyssey for Peter, an odyssey for Olivia, and an odyssey for Walter. That you guys can comprehend and get involved in, and watch, and sort of watch it play out. Where there's a consistency that you'll be able to see episode to episode where they're going, where they're moving, and feel with them. But a lot of the heart that was in White Tulip and things like that comes from things that have been built up. I was only able to really maximize White Tulip because of all the things that came before it, and using Walter to sort of say, I'm going to deliver a letter. Well, if you guys didn't understand how important that letter was and what the information was, it really wouldn't have meant a difference whether it was delivered or not, because you wouldn't care. So it's kind of like a creative jiu-jitsu, because I'm using what you guys know for my favor. But so this season is that. This season is definitely everything you know about Fringe is coming back for a love letter that I'm trying to give the people that I love back. And all those things that you thought that you forgot, or the things that you thought meant something and then are recontextualized, they will all come into focus. And I just want to leave the show with what I would want, from a show, because I'm a fan of TV. I don't want to spend 4 years of my life and then go, wait, what? What? This sucks. This doesn't. click. Like I'm so angry, you know. Like I'm driving to work the next day pissed off. So I wanted to say, okay, well, what I would want is I'd want to have a feeling of like, oh my God, I just watched everything come into its own, and it all sort of makes sense, and everybody gets what they deserve in one way or the other. And I'm just like, oh, that was beautiful. I'm so sad, but I can still, when I'm driving to work the next day, I can think, you know, I can imagine their lives. Like, I can imagine how they're doing. You know, I can imagine them going on. And that's the kind of thing, that's the reason why I'm in this business, is to make people forget about their own troubles for a while and realize that, you know, it's all a beautiful story and hopefully it'll affect them. And, you know, and I want to take it with me. So I want to be the gift that keeps on giving with Fringe, that you remember it fondly. Yeah, it had its stumbles, and like any show, and it had its trials, but the way that it ended was, you know, awesome. I felt something, you know.
I just was compelled at the end of season 4 to go back and rewatch the entire series. So
you're with me. See, you know, that's, yeah.
And good. What I was moved by was actually rewatch. I will tell you, the first time I watched season 1, I thought it was okay. Mm-hmm. However, once I finished season 4 and went back and watched it, I was like, this is amazing. So I don't know, did you kind of know that you were leading, like how this all was going to tie together? Because it really tied together well.
Yeah, I came in episode 15 or 14. Oh, okay. That's when I came into. That's when I came in because the show was sort of. I guess it was kind of more like an X-Files type of thing, and it's funny because I had never really written anything about science fiction. You know, I was more of an existentialist. You know, I'm really into Albert Camus and stuff like that. So I'm sitting there going like, all right, you know. But then I started kind of getting into science fiction, and I started realizing like, you know, Isaac Asimov and who the hell that great writer was, and all these incredible things, and you're like, wow, these guys are like geniuses. And I realized that the more science fiction it became, the more about humanity it was. So existentialism is always at the root of all their science fiction anyway. It's all about being a better human being, and how much knowledge is too much knowledge, and all these great sort of thematic elements. And as soon as I cued into that, I went, yeah, I'm done. I get it. So that's sort of how it sort of came to be, that sort of thing. So there are things like we didn't know, like JJ will tell you that the amber on the bus was a weapon, you know, in season 1. And you're like, you know, amber on a bus, how creepy. But then you realize, no, that's how you plug up holes in the alternators. Now, I would love to say that, wow, we thought of that way back. We didn't, because like later it comes up and I'm like, okay, you know what, that's what it is. Sure, you know. So you start to kind of get things, but there were a lot of things we did set up thematically and things like that. So I mean, to go through it would be kind of like a pretty long process, because there was a lot of things that. Like, there are some things that you're going to see this season that I specifically put a fence around and said, nobody's touching this, because we need this for the final season. It's very, very crucial. So there's a lot of unanswered things that you guys probably thought were threads that were let go, but they're let go for a reason.
Will all questions be answered?
Well, I mean, that's, you know, I don't want to, that's, you're really putting me on the spot for that. But the questions that I think are relevant, questions that I think are important, you know, the ones that I think are like, you know, there's still a lot of people saying, what was the pattern? But I answered that like, way, you know, like, you know, and there's people saying, what's the pattern? I'm like, dude, like, watch season 1 and 2, like, it's over, the pattern's over, dude, we're in the other, you know, we're in the thing. So all the ones that are, because there's some, we got, like, our viewers are intelligent, and they're like, they don't let you go on a thing, and they see everything, like, you did this, and you know, this is wrong, and you're like, oh, wait. So all the ones that I think are relevant, that I would want answered, I think are answered. But you'll let me know.
I'm sorry.
Can I ask one question real quick? Do you know what Fox is going to do as far as the schedule goes? You guys obviously start
Fridays.
September.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a fall only
They're
show?
Trying to give us as much, you know, look, they're huge fans, you know, in that building. So they're trying to give us the best we can get, and we're going to have good chunks, like, you know, so you'll be like, oh, big runs.
Okay.
Will it be through May or end in January?
I believe it's going to end in, I'm not sure exactly. Probably, what's January? Yeah, it's only the 13th, so there's not much. Yeah, I can find out exactly. I'll let you know if you want it.
Josh is here, so I'll ask him.
Yeah. Okay, but really, thank you so much, because this is the last time we'll meet on Fringe, with the exception of the TCAs, but just in case, you know, thanks. I really mean it, because I write in a vacuum. You know, I'm writing like in a room where nobody, I don't know if it's gonna work, and you know, and then it gets put out there. Well, yeah, but you guys, you know, like I've never seen a show like with these numbers last 5 seasons. I mean, to me, it's a miracle, and so it's just a testament that you guys are saying you're helping, and you've been very forgiving when we didn't really deserve it, and you've found things when I think that they did have. You know, reason to be found and celebrated. So thanks for all of it, good and bad.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're pretty good, aren't we?
Yes, you're all right.